Hey y'all, I want to share a testimony with you, and I want to title this God is a God of Process, because a lot of times I feel like we can step into what we think God is calling us to, and when it doesn't pan out exactly how we expect, we can just shut down. And I want to share with you how I shut down and how God came through and still took me through the process and what happened because of it. So, back in the early part of 2023, I want to say like towards the end of first quarter, the Lord had been placing things on my heart to share with my email list. And it had nothing to do with skincare. So, I have a skincare company and I have an email list that I was sending skincare tips to, and sales and highlighting ingredients and all the things that you would normally get from a skincare company. But the Lord had placed it on my heart to start sharing like more of my thoughts. And so I started doing that, but I was feeling very uncomfortable because I knew that the Lord was like calling me to start doing this, but I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like, I have a skincare business. If I'm sending out emails unrelated to skincare, like, how am I going to get any sales? Like, the math wasn't mathing. And so I was very hesitant. And I remember talking to a friend, and I was like, I really feel like God is wanting me to like just share things that's not related to skincare, but I don't understand like how is that going to like grow my business. And I was like, well, this is just what we're gonna do. And so I started sending those emails. It's what became the morning inspo email, and I send it out every single week. I've been doing it for over a year and a half, and it's just been a true blessing to see like the responses that I get and how it's encouraging people and helping people in their own spiritual journey of seeking God and growing closer to Him. And about a year ago, so it's November 2024 now, November 1st, 2024. I don't know when this video will be posted, but about a year ago, I started wondering, like, what can I do with these emails? Like, I was sending them out, and, if you weren't on the list, like, you didn't get the email. Like, you weren't getting any of the previous emails. And sometimes, like, even if you were on the list, it might go to your junk mail. Um, and you might just miss it, from all the other emails you get. So I was like, what am I going to do about these emails? Like, I hate that, you know, it's just like whoever gets them that day, like that's it's kind of like dead after that. And I didn't really like think much more about it. I just kind of like kept that thought, like, man, like, what else could I do with it? Like, that's really sad that once the email is sent, like, that's kind of the end of it. And so, um, back in, I want to say August. Okay, in August, I finally understood that these emails were going to go into a blog. But in typical fashion, I just kind of sat on it. And I don't know why I do this. Like, sometimes if I get an idea and it's very easy to execute, and I can like see that like there's going to be an immediate result, like, I'm all on top of it. Like, as soon as I get the idea, like, it's in full force. But other ideas that take a little bit more of work, and I really don't know like what's going to become of it, like, I stall. And so in August, I was like, okay, like, the Lord, through like me researching and stuff like that, like, He gave me this vision for a blog. And I was like, okay, well, we'll see like how to do that. And so then in September, I finally started working on it. But I want to pause and I want to backtrack a little bit, because in between this whole time, something else happened. So in June 2023, I started a TikTok account, and I was very excited to do this because all of my social media accounts, other than my personal Facebook page, like they were all business. And so all the content that I posted, like it was all pertaining to like business. And it can be draining. It can be really draining to always have to think like in marketing brain, like, and strategize and stuff like that. And so I was like, I just wanted a space to where I could just share my own thoughts and not have to worry about like any marketing or like making it make sense, like just literally sharing. And so in June 2023, I started a TikTok account to where I just shared. I shared like my thoughts, my testimony, and it was very freeing. I got a lot of joy out of it. So pretty much like right after I launched my TikTok account, I got like this whole vision of I was supposed to start my Christian apparel business. So I had like all these ideas for like t-shirts and stuff like that, but like I just never had the capacity to execute any of it because I was, working on my businesses. And so I was like, business was kind of slow. I just started this TikTok account. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is perfect. And so I purchased the domain. That's how Every Testimony Matters came about. I purchased the domain. I got my Shopify store set up and I got my shirts. Like I was ready to go. And so I launched it and like I thought that I was being obedient. I was like, the Lord gave me this idea. He knows I've been wanting to do these shirts for a long time. And I was so excited. So I launched it and crickets. Nobody did anything. Not one shirt was purchased. Like it was just a mess. And I got very, very discouraged because I felt like, did I hear God wrong? Like, was I being disobedient? Was I being selfish? Like, I was just a mess. And so I pretty much like stopped posting on my TikTok consistently. I felt very uninspired. Like I thought God was mad at me, and it was just really sad. And so fast forward to the beginning of 2024, I felt like God was calling me back to posting on my TikTok account consistently. And so I was like, okay, I'm really going to do this. I know that every time I posted a video, it was helping somebody. And I did get a lot of joy out of it. I felt like it was very natural for me to do. Like I really enjoyed it. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna start doing this again. And I did. And I did it with zero expectations. Like there was no expectations other than to share and to try to help somebody. And so did that. And so that's what I've been doing, pretty much all year since the beginning of 2024. It's just posting on this TikTok account and still, running my businesses and stuff. But it's been a slower year. The economy is down, and I've had some extra time to pour into this TikTok, and I found a lot of joy in it. And so fast forward, I ended up getting this idea for this blog, and come September, I was like, okay, I need to get serious about this because there's nothing worse than getting a vision from God and like wasting it, right? Like visions are a blessing. And so if God gives you a vision for something, even though, it may not come to its full fruition like right away, the important thing is that you're obedient and you start like pursuing it. And so I was like, I really need to get serious about this. And so crazy thing is, I already had the domain. I already had Every Testimony Matters from when I did it last time, right? I already had a domain, so I didn't have to go out and like do anything extra. I already had all the emails. I had a year and a half worth of emails to upload to the blog. Okay, so I already had the content. All right. And I did have to do a little research on the platform that I was going to hold the blog on. But I ended up getting the blog set up very, very easily. Okay. And as I was setting the blog up, I realized this is going to be a space for products, because I don't believe that the Lord gave me vision for, the t-shirts and stuff like that for it to be wasted. Um, I really believe that I did the things in that season to make it um, easier on myself. It was simple to do it this time around because I already had a lot of the stuff that I prepared in an earlier season. And so God wastes nothing. And so I went ahead and got the blog set up, ended up, having even more vision for the shirts. Like before, when I did the shirts, it was just like a couple things, but like this time around, when I was thinking about it, like it was like, wow, like this is even better than what I imagined before. And so I was able to get those set up, and it was just amazing to see how like God was bringing things like full circle almost. Not that this is complete, but like he used the things that I did in a earlier season that I thought was a complete waste. Like I was a disappointment, like I disobeyed God, and he used it in a later season to where like now this actually makes more sense. So ended up, getting the website and everything activated in September. And then I still waited, y'all, because then I was afraid. I was afraid. I was like, okay, what if this don't work out? Like, here I am doing all this, and last time, nothing happened, and you don't want it to be a waste again, right? And so earlier in October, I was like, okay, I'm paying for this website. Like, I need to put this website out there because I know it's going to help people. But I was still afraid. The enemy will do that. He will have us feeling afraid, even though God's given us everything that we need to do what we need to do. Like, we just got to do it. But we can get so afraid because of like past experiences not working out or people hurting us in the past that it's hard to move forward. But anyways, I was like, okay, I need to get this going. So I ended up finalizing everything, and I launched it. I guess like the last week of October, I launched it, and I've gotten so much great feedback. So the website is everytestimonymatters.com, and it's a blog of all my past emails that I've sent out, and you can sort it. This is the coolest part about the whole thing, is you can sort it by topic. So you don't have to just like go through one by one. Like they're all sorted by topic. So if you're struggling with, fear, or you want to read about discipline, you want to read about something I had on wisdom or prayer, like you can click on those topics and the emails will come up. There's also a spot to comment, so like you can interact with other people. And then last but not least, the Lord has given me a space to where I can do my shirts so that people can, wear clothes that encourage conversations to start talking about Jesus, you know. So I'm very, very excited. And I can't believe how all of this has really come about. Like, it is so beautiful how God can work things out. And it's hard going through a process. Like, none of this has been easy, but that's why I wanted to create this video and just share my story with you, because this isn't even the end, y'all. Like, this is the beginning. This started back in 2023, but like this is really the beginning. That was just like some pre-work that I had to do to prepare me for now. And I think sometimes we can get so wrapped up in the time frame of things, but like the Bible tells us that a day is 1,000 years to God, and 1,000 years is a day. Like, his time is not like our time. Like, we're sitting up here thinking like, oh, this doesn't happen fast enough. And God's like, this is just a couple of seconds of your life. Like, is he sees eternal. We only see like a little bit ahead of our life. And it's just really beautiful to me how God has worked this out. And I want to remind you that, like, if you're in a space to where you feel like something didn't work out, like, what did you learn through that experience, through that process? Like, what can you take away that could help you in your next season? And maybe it's not even like a skill or anything like that. Maybe it's just a heart posture. Maybe it's you're trusting in the Lord more. I don't know what it is, but I know that God is a God of process. He wastes nothing. And if we continue to trust in Him and lean on Him for understanding and include Him in our plans, we know that He works all things for good. And so that's what happened in this situation. Like, that wasn't good. I done did all that, launching a website, didn't get not one order. But I know that through this restored website of me creating a new space, having this blog, being able to offer even better options for people to wear their faith, I'm just really excited for what God's going to do. And I know that there's just so much more. There's so much more to my story. This entire process has really shown me that there's so much more for what I'm doing than skincare. Like, I love my skincare business, and I pray that God always allows me to have it. Like, I truly love that community and what He's allowed me to create. But like I said, I feel like this process has just confirmed that there is so much more to what is in store than just skincare. It's more than skincare, and I look forward to seeing how He uses this new space, this blog, and what happens next. So I hope this video encourages you to just keep going through your process, keep trusting in God. And even when you do get discouraged, like, He knows our heart. Like, let Him know, like, Lord, I'm discouraged. Like, I thought I was doing the right thing, but like, it didn't turn out right. Ask Him, what are you supposed to be learning through that process? What can you take away from that hurt, from that, what you deem to be a failure? Like, what can you take away from that so that you can grow? But anyways, again, I hope this was helpful. I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all later.